G'day everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Pierre and this is Simple Homebrew. Today I'm doing a Merlot, a Winexpert Merlot. Now I know I've done one before. This is 2 years ago when I wasn't very experienced, but now I'm a bit more experienced, so I'm hoping that I'll give you more information on what I'm doing. This one though is the new pack. This is the 8 litre version. They have 8 litres of concentrate, and the one I did before had a 10 litre concentrate, so this might be a little bit different in flavouring and the way it's made. So I'm going to hopefully talk you through it if I can. All right, stick around for that one. See you soon. So what I'm doing is I'm just making up this brew to try it. And I am a wine lover, so I do really like whiskey, wine and beer. So they're all 3 different items. I don't mind an apple cider, but apple ciders are very, I'm choosy in what I like. And the last one I did, I absolutely adored. It was a beautiful drink, which was a Mangrove Jack's blueberry apple cider. I'll leave a link to that on here. And let's get started, shall we? So guys, what I've got is my Winexpert wine kit. With that wine kit, basically, it comes with everything you need. You only need a fermenter. I'm using my Fermentosaurus, which I don't pressure ferment with anymore. Even though I've tested it, it's okay, but I don't want to chance it. So I'm going to use that, which has a thermal well in it, which is really awesome. So I'm going to use that to ferment it. Now that's going to ferment over a couple of weeks, and then after that, we have to clear it. So we have to go into a secondary. With the secondary, I'll put that into... I don't know why I'm yelling. I'll put that into this beauty. This is a carboy. This one's a glass one. Whoop. And a lot of people warn me against using carboys that are glass because they can break. But if you're careful, it won't. So that's something to look forward to. So today, all I'm doing is doing an unboxing, and I'm going to start the first step in making this beautiful Merlot. It's a Chile Merlot, so we'll try it out. First, we open the box up, which is a kit that has all the little fining products in it. These are all, this whole pack is all about clearing your wine as you brew. So this is something I'll talk you through. We have your wood chips. They're oak wood chips. They have 2 packets. I'm pretty sure you put both packets in straight away. So they will be placed in today's brew. As you can see, I'm wearing a hat now, so every time I brew, I'm going to be wearing a hat, and I'm going to be wearing hats, hopefully, from channels like yours. So hopefully you guys have merch. Let me know in the description, and I'll purchase a hat, or if you want to give me one, that'd be even better. I'll give you a link for the address to send it to. So now, what we have here is our juice. Our juice is a big bag, a big goon bag of concentrated grape juice. So the first step we have to do is dissolve our bentonite. It's quite a hard step. It's probably one of the hardest parts of all this brew. Basically, you got to dissolve it, but I found a method that works really well for me, and I'm going to show you. Right. So I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. This is a white container. It's got a few bits and pieces in it, so I'm going to have to clean that out. Once I've cleaned it out, I'm going to pour 2 cups of hot water in. It doesn't matter if you do more. Basically, all you have to do is make sure that the bentonite can dissolve. And you don't want it too hot when you add the yeast later. So I have a kettle. My kettle is 2 litres worth. So I'll fill it up to 2 litres and boil it. And I might just use the 2 litres to dissolve my bentonite. It's probably an easier way of doing it. So I'll do that right now. And in the meantime, I will sanitize my equipment. Okay, so while the kettle's boiling, guys, I'm going to just open up the packet and show you what they all are. So in the packet, basically you have bentonite, which is what we're going to use now. We also have, one packet, 9.5 grams of sulfite, or sorbate, basically. It's a mix between sulfites and sulfates, so it's 2 different contents, 2 different products. Basically, Kaisersol, which I believe. We have our yeast, which is EC 118, yeah, EC 118, which is a wine yeast. And and chitosan. Now, I learned how to say that recently. You subscribers out there, you brewers out there, taught me how to say it. It's pronounced chitosan. So you guys should also pay attention to the instruction manual. The instruction manual is the way to do it. We have it in English and we also have it in French. For you French people out there, you can do it. So for you English people out there, get it right? Yeah. So basically the instruction manual says, sorry, my accents are crap, I understand. The instruction manual says you need to dissolve your chitosan in 2 cups of hot water. Now, I've done this a couple of times now and I realise that 2 cups of hot water is probably not enough for me to work with. It won't affect it. Basically, I just want to dissolve it a bit better than what they say. And it doesn't matter if you have lumps. It comes out in lumps and it will dissolve over time in your brew anyway as the yeast eats the sugar. So basically, your negatively charged bentonite will attach itself to the positively charged particles that's in your brew. Grab it and hold on to it for dear life. And when you brew, it'll eventually pull it all down and the yeast that's eating your sugar will bubble up, causing CO2 to push all the particles back up into the mixture and then slowly settle down. Once the yeast is finished doing its eating, everything should just settle to the bottom and you'll see that happen. Then with your secondary, you'll add more chemicals to clarify it even more. What a beautiful picture. Clarify it even more. What the hell's that? It's been happening a lot lately. So what I've done now, guys, is I've popped sanitizer in here. Make sure that it was sanitized throughout. It's been sitting for more than 30 seconds, which I can guarantee it has, during that kettle boiling. So I've spread it around, so I'm just going to tip this out because I don't need it anymore. You know what I really would love is a sink in this freaking shed. It is awesome, the shed. I'll tell you now, it's great having it here. I can spend a lot of time in here. I'm thinking of putting a sink in and having it run under my shed and out and through my stormwater drain. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, so that's why I haven't done it yet. So the sanitizer is drained. I now will put 100 degrees Celsius hot water in my fermenter. Now, like I said, they say 2 cups, but I'm going to do more because that's just what I do and it won't affect it. It'll just hopefully help me dissolve the bentonite. So with that, we'll find the bentonite. We'll get our bentonite. Now there's a way of doing this that you probably should be aware of. This fluid is 100 degrees Celsius at the moment, probably a bit less now, I'm 198, 96 degrees. Now that will kill bacteria, pretty much anything. Really, we don't have to be worried about bacteria getting into our brew at the moment because it's hot water. So bentonite is a clay, like I said, and it's when you pour it in, it kind of coagulates. So you need to get something to stir it with so that it doesn't. And you also need to learn to pour it so that you do it bit by bit so it doesn't coagulate too quick and not dissolve. So I'll get my little stirring stick and I'll start pouring it in. Now, as you can see, hopefully, with the other camera, is to sprinkle a bit in and stir. Sprinkle a bit more in and stir. And with a bit of patience, you could do this and it will dissolve really well without coagulating too much and getting stuck on everything. So it works really well. So once I've done this, I'll show you the result. Now with wine brewing, patience is a virtue. You need to be patient. It takes a long time to get it to ferment as well as clear out and become a really good aged wine. So I'm sprinkling little bits and stirring. So I know that the instructions say to do 2 cups and you can do it. It'll just be harder to dissolve as time progresses. So as you can see, it's dissolving beautifully and it's not sticking to anything. See how you can see the little things sticking to that? Look at that. See, you can see all the sticky bits? That's what happens, it's coagulation. So the clay is just trying to find itself and it's finding the negative and positive charges. And unfortunately, plastic is positively charged, so it's going to really love grabbing the sides of things and grabbing hold of the plastic in areas. So I'll just stir that a little bit until it dissolves a bit more. And you can see how cloudy it's become. It's definitely the clay, so that's really good. I'm hoping that this is what the scientists who designed this kit require you to do. So this is what patience does. Basically, I've now gone and ran my bentonite in, and really, as you can see, it's probably as dissolved as I'll ever be able to get it. So I'm really happy with that. So I'll make sure I'm on the English side of my instructions. So it says clean and sanitize equipment to be used for brewing, which I am doing now. I have done. Pour 2 litres. Oh, it's actually changed. You now pour 2 litres of tap water. I didn't know that. In the primary fermenter and stir in bentonite. Now I couldn't put it in my primary fermenter because it can't handle the 100 degrees Celsius heat. Mix well. Normal bentonite is not fully dissolved in water. So it is normal for bentonite to not fully dissolve in water. Pour the contents of a juice base, which is now what I'm going to do. This is the contents of the juice base. Now before, when I was doing my old brews, they provided me with a pouring notch. They provided me with a pouring notch in here. This one doesn't have it. So I'm going to have to try and figure out how I'm going to pour that. Well, I don't mind that, but now I have to work out how I'm going to hold the nozzle and pour it at the same time without it going all over the place, I suppose, because it's quite awkward to hold. So what I've got an idea in doing is in these boxes, there's a handle on the side. Now the handle is open enough that I can actually push the pouring nozzle through the handle, and that should pour easily into my fermenter, into my mixing barrel base, whatever that is. So what I'll do now is I'll leave this on the side like this, because that's basically how I'm going to have to open it without it. So that's basically how I'm going to have to open it without it going all over the place. And I'm going to pop the cap off and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's off. Ooh, look at the juice. I mean, you probably can't see it from this camera. Well, oh, it smells so rich. Okay, I'm hoping that I'll be able to pour that without spilling. But you know me, I'm a bit clumsy. Oh, nearly. Ready? Let's do this. Oh, look at that pour. How good's that? Look how rich that looks. So what we're doing now is I'll basically put this in here, make it nice and clear. Okay, that's nice and rich. So what I'll do now is I'll actually fill this back up. I need 23 litres, I believe, yes. I need to make up 23 litres, but the problem is I need to make sure that the chlorine's out of my water. So I'll need to now pour the 23 litres, the rest of the water. So this is 8 litres. I put in 2 litres of bentonite basically, so we need another 13 litres in my fermenter. So I'll now sanitize my fermenter and fill it up to 13 litres so that once we are where we need to be, we can then pour our extract into our fermenter. Alright, so I've got my sanitizer in my fermenter. Now I previously cleaned this, so it's just a matter of sanitizing and getting rid of it. Now this is a Thermowell remake kit. So I basically got a Thermowell and remade my Fermentosaurus. I'll pop a video up here on when I did that. So what I do is I'll put my thermal well, which is this, which a lot of people out there haven't seen this really. It can be added to your Fermentosaurus, but it gives me an option to pressure ferment or not. Now today, I'm not using this as a pressure fermenter. I'm only using it as a normal fermenter. So I'll remove the float. Actually, so I'm not going to pressure ferment this, but I am going to use this to transfer from this to my secondary, and I'm going to try and do it as oxygen free as possible. So what I'll do is I'll put my floaty on the end to make sure that I can put some pressure in it to transfer it to my secondary without adding extra oxygen if I can help it. But it's not bad, it's not too bad really. So making sure that everything that touches the surface of the wine has been sanitized with sanitizer. And I have a video on sanitizer as well. If you want to see that, I'll pop a caption up here too. So right now, I'll place that. That's under. It's now being sanitized. I'll tip the sanitizer out now, and add water to it with a Camden tablet to try and dissolve the chlorine and chloramine in our tap water. It says you can do it without doing that, but it definitely helps with flavouring. So if you're interested in doing it, have a go. It works for me. It doesn't always work for everybody, but give it a go anyway. Cheers. And so if you remember, I was saying that I need to get 13 litres of water in there with a Camden tablet or half a Camden tablet. So I've got half a Camden tablet, as you can see. Hopefully you can see that. Bit blurry, sorry guys. I'm going to crush that and put it into my fermenter. No, I'm not. It's harder to crush than I thought. Now, I haven't got a spoon. I was going to try and crush this. If you guys have seen my videos in the past, you can crush these with a spoon, 2 spoons. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to drop it in there. It'll be fine. I'll pop in my water now and it should dissolve in the water real easy. I just realised, I just stopped the water. I need to fill this bag up again to rinse it out because it does have leftover juice in there. I just want to rinse it out and make sure I get all of it. So I'll pop in another, what's left in the gauge is 4 litres. So I'm going to quickly throw 4 litres of water in that. So that's what I've done. I've now poured 4 litres of water. I'll take the bag out and show you. So what we're left over is just a little bit more juice. So I just want to rinse it out, put a bit more water in there just to rinse out what's left over. And my hands are sanitised, by the way. You're working with all the sanitizers, no wonder. And then I'll pour this into my fermenter. You guys can't see what I'm doing. Actually, I might put you over here so you can see. So I'll pour this into my fermenter. So that way, I've gotten rid of and rinsed all that I needed to out of that bag. I'm really happy with that. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. This is my fermenter at the moment, ready to accept the concentrate. So you can see that's all, put the thumb over the hole. That's it, I put my Camden tablet in, so I'll let that sit there and dissolve, which is already done. And now we'll proceed to put the concentrate in, which will bring it to 23 litres. All right, I have my funnel, which I need to rinse in sanitizer. So my funnel's rinsed in sanitizer, cleaned with sanitizer, as well as my hands, of course. I'll pop that in a position where I can actually pour. So we have our funnel, we have our bentonite and concentrate ready to go. I probably should have left a bit of water behind for to rinse this bucket out, but it's not going to happen. So carefully pour that in there. Now I don't usually use this fermenter for this sort of purpose, but I am today because I really want to use it for winemaking. Because you don't need to pressure ferment with this one. And even though I've tested it, I don't trust that it's going to be alright. It's just one of those stupid things that I think. So I'm hoping that I've gone under. I need to be at 23 litres. I've gone under, which I definitely have. So I'm down at 22.5 litres. 21.5, sorry. I just need to put 1.5 litres in there more. Throw that in there. That's it, that's all I've got to work with. So I'm hoping that I saved nearly everything for the rest of it, and in it goes. So that should get me to 23 litres. Look at that. And where am I? I'm at 23 litres. I'm spot on 23 litres, I'm happy with that. We'll leave it at that. This is now nicely mixed, aerated pretty good. I'll put my thermal well back in, just to cover it up so I don't get any bacteria in there. So now what I'm going to do is I have to add the wood chips. Now, adding the wood chips is part of this actual first part of the brew. So what I've got is oak chips. So there's 2 packets of oak chips, and the instructions state, put them in now and stir well. So that's what I'll do. So this is 1 pack of oak chips. This is what they look like in a pack. Smell like oak, basically, and I've had that flavour in beer, wine before. So throw that in. Now it's 2 packets I've got to do. It's 1. I'll throw the other one in. And I'm cutting them with sanitised scissors, as you always should, because everything is sanitised at the moment. That's the 2nd pack. This will give it a barrel-aged flavouring and scent. So with that, as you all can guess, there's a bit of stirring we need to do. And this is 20... Well, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to stir it like this. And that, I mean, oak chips will float for a while and then they'll slowly sink to the bottom. So that is now stirred in. I think that's stirred enough, don't you? The temperature is at 24 degrees Celsius. So now I'm hoping that I can add my yeast. I'm pretty sure I can. Yes, I can. I can add my yeast now because it's 24 degrees Celsius is safe to add. It is just dry yeast. It's a wine yeast. So I'm going to throw that in. Trying to keep the pinkly. You do it dry. It doesn't say anything about adding the yeast and rehydrating. It seems you don't have to. I'll stir that up as well. Now, of course, it's a great way of mixing it. This is a really good system for this. I'm probably going to break this bloody thing, though, doing that. And that is now ready to go. So, this plunger here, I'll leave open all the time. It's only there to stop yeast going into the tube bottle. I'll leave it open because it's not required, and it really is hard to keep it shut anyway when it's got fluid in it. It doesn't seem to want to shut. I'm going to add a air lock now, and hopefully it'll start bubbling in the next day or 2. Oh. So what I have is my little airlock. This little airlock I've used for a while. It's got a bit of wear and tear to it, but it still does the job. I'll pop in some sanitizer. Sanitizer halfway up, basically. Drop the little sanitized, or little bubble catcher. This is just a bubbler. What is it? An airlock, basically. So I'm going to place this airlock, which is halfway filled with sanitizer, and sanitizer will hopefully kill some sort of bacteria that may try and get in. We just push it in. If I can get it going, there you go. That'll act as a, leave that valve open. That'll act as a airlock, basically, nicely. The unit is sealed, ready to go. I've got a few wood chips up top, but you know, that's not going to affect it too much. I'll pop that now in a climate control. 20 degrees Celsius is what they say, room temperature. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll come back and we'll transfer it to our secondary. See you then.